Please subscribe.
The 2017 Honda Civic hatch has arrived. So what? It's the same as the sedan, right? Just with a different butt. Yep, a rear end with a hatchback that opens up wider to allow easier storage of larger items, with folding rear seats to make it even more practical if you need it to be. But there's a more significant element to this version than there has been for quite a while, because unlike the previous Civic hatchback models, on sale from 2007 until 2016 and sourced out of the UK, this all-new version is built alongside its sedan sibling in Thailand. Does that mean anything for consumers? A lower price, like for like, that is, there's no base model manual anymore, and the company reckons it has added more equipment to even the base car. There's also styling similarity, which finally gives the Honda small car range the showroom floor cohesion it has badly lacked for more than a decade. They aren't identical. The hatch has a black grille across all models, where there's a chrome finish on all but the RS in the sedan range, and all hatches have a body color roof spoiler, black hatch spoiler, and, obviously, a rear windscreen wiper. The interior is different, too, with a charcoal headliner, a retractable cargo blind. Honda calls it a lateral tonneau cover, and unlike in most other hatches, it isn't capable of holding any weight like the traditional parcel shelf. Rather, it's just there to stop people peering into your boot through the glass on the hatch, and luggage tie-down hooks are fitted as well. We're talking almost identical coin between hatch and sedan, so a 5-model range that sees the base model kicking things off at $22,390 plus on-road costs and ranging through to the flagship TLX variant at a $33,590 plus on-road ZAS. Only the second from top model, the RS, has a price variation between the hatch and sedan. The hatch is $500 more. The reason behind the RS costing more is that it features some unique extras in comparison to the sedan, including twin central exhaust tips, piano black side skirts, black front and rear lower spoilers, and a 12-speaker stereo with subwoofer. And just like the sedan range, the hatch model's two cheapest variants, the T and TS, have a different engine to the higher-spec TL, RS and TLX variants. The BAS engine is a 1.8-liter 4-cylinder naturally aspirated, in other words, not turbocharged, and it has 104 kilowatts of power and 174 Nm of torque, while the higher-spec versions have Honda's Earthstream's 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with 127 kilowatts of power and 220 Nm of torque. All Civics are front-wheel drive, and all have continuously variable transmission, CVT, auto gearboxes. We don't get the manual models offered in other markets. People who want to take matters into their own hands will have to wait for the Civic Type R hot hatch. It's the same new generation architecture underpinning the hatch model as the sedan, and there is little to separate them in the way they drive. That is to say, the Civic hatch is pretty darn good. It was the RS model we spent most of our time in, and as we did in the sedan, we found ourselves questioning the extent to which this not even warm version of the Civic hatch deserves to wear a hallowed badge like RS. It doesn't get bigger wheels than a lower-spec version or the flagship, and nor does it have a distinct suspension tune or more grunt. But that aside, for a regular, run-of-the-mill hatchback, the Civic is one of the most fun-to-drive models on the market. The way it steers is the biggest talking point. The steering is really quick to react. If you make a mid-corner adjustment, it takes just a tiny bit of effort, where another small car may require a quarter turn of lock. It's a variable ratio steering system. It'll adjust its response based on how fast you're driving, and that means at low speeds it's easy enough to whirl, while on the highway it has more heft to it. It isn't the most involving steering in terms of feel and feedback, but the weighting and directness ensures it lives up to the brand's fun-to-drive mantra for the Civic, while its taut suspension also means it feels secure on the road. The suspension isn't perfect, it can be a little droopy over potholes, falling into, rather than riding over them, but on the whole its firm edged ride is reassuring, particularly in twisty corners. It sits nice and flat in the bends. The engine is a fairly strong thing, offering good power and response under mid-throttle. The CVT makes it quite noisy, though, particularly at speeds up to about 60 km per hour when you're on and off the go pedal. In other ways the CVT is quite good. It teams well with the turbo engine, and in sport mode it will hold the revs where they need to be to ensure you're getting the most out of the 1.5-liter mill. There's plenty of coarse chip road roar, too, and the Bridgestone Turanza rubber on the RS seemed louder than the Dunlop Renaissance lower-spec 1.8-liter non-turbo TS that we also drove. This drivetrain was notably quieter, and while the turbo offers a bit more zest, this engine is perfectly suitable for the needs of a small hatchback buyer. The CVT gearbox, when left in D, will keep revs low, and that can mean it can feel a little slow under light throttle, but with a little more pressure, or shifted to S, it's certainly willing enough. Seeing that this car is differentiated by its boot area, there is good news for buyers. The new hatch has a class-leading cargo hold of 414 liters, which makes it bigger than the Hyundai i30, 395 liters, Volkswagen Golf, 380 liters, Toyota Corolla, 360 liters, Subaru Impreza, 345 liters, and Mazda 3, 308 liters. The boot area is wide and deep, enough for a golf bag or 4 suitcases, according to Honda. And while it doesn't have magic seats like the old Civic hatch, the new model features 60 hours 40 minutes split-fold seats that offer better usability than the sedan. In the back seat, space in the hatch is virtually identical to the sedan, good for the class for legroom, a little tight for tote room, and just good enough for headroom for a 6-footer. The transmission tunnel in the middle seat area, though, may mean a bit of a battle for footroom. Storage through the rear cabin is fine, a pair of bottle holders in the doors, a pair of cup holders in the fold-down armrest, a map pocket, and up front there's a big center console bin, a shelf for devices in front of the gear shifter, with a neat little slit for you to poke your USB cable through, and big door pockets. The space-saving electric park brake helps in regards to storage. There's a 7.0-inch touchscreen media system with Bluetooth phone and audio streaming, and that screen also has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity. There's no volume dial. We believe Honda is working on an update that will add one, and the electrostatic sliding volume control on the steering wheel has been disabled. It's just an up-down button now. High-spec models have satellite navigation, but you can also use your phone. The USB port that connects to the screen is faster charging 1.5 amp unit, and there's a second 1.0 amp USB plug in the center bin, charging only. There's also a HDMI input and a 12-volt jack too. Honda's clever digital speedometer, driver info screen is crisp and clear, and while the menus take a little bit of learning, you'll be sorted by the time you've gotten out of the car a few times. Honda has a rear-view camera with a multi-angle display, and there are 6 airbags as standard, dual front side and full-length curtain, and it has a 5-star rank-up crash test score. From the TS model up, Honda has fitted its lane watch side camera, which shows up on the center screen, which is very handy, although the brand's active safety suite, Honda Sensing, with forward collision warning, autonomous emergency braking, lane departure warning, lane keeping assistance and adaptive cruise control is only available on the TLX. That's a shame, because some buyers might want that tech and not be able to spend up near $34,000. Honda offers a cap price servicing program for the Civic, with both hatch and sedan models, no matter the engine, requiring maintenance every 12 months or 10,000 kilometers, just like the Mazda 3, and better than the Corolla, 6 months/10,000 kilometers, although the new Hyundai i30 has 12 months/15,000 kilometers intervals on most models, dropping to 10,000 kilometers for the SR twins. Service costs over 3 years for the new Civic come to $843, which is comparable to those models. Corolla, $840, Mazda 3, $928, while i30 undercuts all at $777 for the 2.0-liter petrol engine. The warranty plan for all Honda models is 3 years, unlimited kilometers, and there's no roadside assist included. On the whole, the all-new Honda Civic hatch offers the practicality we've come to expect from the Japanese brand as well as convenience features and tech that see it among the best in class. It's a good thing, worthy of putting on your shopping list.